What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to episode 75 of Let's Build the U.S.S. Voyager tutorial. I'm Zero Elite, and I just want to thank you very much for tuning in today's episode. And if you haven't, please help me out. Hit that like and subscribe button, helping me supporting the channel. I can't thank you enough for that. We are officially in the final 5 episodes of Voyager Season 1. Can't believe it, but we're going to knock out these remaining 5 episodes with today's episode included in that 5. So, without further ado, let's kick back, relax, we're going to dive right into this. We're going to be picking up right where we left off, working on that V shape on the belly of our lower hull. So let's just go ahead and dive right into this thing. We're also going to be, once we're done working on this, we will be shifting gears just a little bit over into what will eventually be kind of like the engineering lower section of the ship. We're going to be getting some of the big bay windows that Voyager has down in there once we're done with today's detailing for the belly of the ship. I'm really just trying to clean up for where we left off in the last episode, trying out a couple of different things. I'm bringing down my cut lines just a little bit, as you can see. And you know, as you're deleting these blue builder blocks, not a big deal, just got to go back with the white concrete and fill them in. Or excuse me, the block of quartz. My bad. That's one thing to remember. We use 3 different type of blocks primarily for Voyager and most of my ships. The white quartz, the white concrete, and the quartz half slabs. Alright, so now that we've got that cleaned up, basically what I'm going to do is that we're just going to go along the outer outline of our V, and we're going to try to tighten this thing up and blend it in just a little bit with half slabs and see how that looks. That's the one nice thing about adding in the half slabs, because it tones down your cut. But I'm thinking maybe what we should do to help with the lighting situation underneath here, since we're going to be adding in half slabs, to me it just makes more sense that we should do a row of lanterns directly above the half slabs, because within Minecraft we do it this way. We do a row of illumination blocks, and then underneath that we do our slab, and it covers up the lighting, but you still get the light point, which is freaking awesome. It would be better if they had a full range of colored blocks. Mojang. It'd also be nice if we had a full range of half slabs. I just, you know, and it's getting, I hate to say it, but it's getting to that point, because as long as I've been playing Minecraft, I've been asking for this. And it would just be nice to see them actually deliver on this while I'm alive. And it's not that I'm old, but I kind of sense that it's not going to happen, at least not in my lifetime, which is a shame, because, you know, just that in itself, I think would allow people to do so much more in Minecraft. Now, if you really wanted to make people happy, adding in triangle blocks and blocks like that, keep it that pixelated design, but that's something they could do too. You might get a lot of people say, no, you know, that's not going to work, because it goes out of the appeal building with a square block, which, you know what, I can accept that. But full range of colored half slabs, full range of illuminated blocks, the full spectrum of light, every color. I need it in my life. And I don't want to use mods. I refuse to use a mod to make it happen. Because when you're younger, because like it's crazy, when I was in my teens, I used to like, I'd be all over mods. My brother and I, like, we'd always be downloading mods, and like back in the day, before like the Xbox Live and stuff like that was a thing, like people would have LAN parties, And with LAN parties, basically, you'd have to bring your computer over to somebody's house, and you download the game that we're going to be playing for that weekend. You download all the mods, and you dive right into it, and you have a LAN party. These days, Xbox Live and PlayStation Live and all that is basically what a LAN party used to be, but to me it was better back then because you had to be with your friends, and it'd be like a whole weekend event of downloading that new mod and just diving into it and having a blast. But no, I've found as I've gotten older, you don't have time really to mess with that stuff. You have adulting, you have all stuff that you have to do, life, all that stuff. And when you have to put in hours or whatever it is to research a mod or this or that, you just don't have time for that. You just want to plug it in and go. With that being said, if the majority of my audience watched used mods, I probably would do it. But because of the fact that I feel that a good portion of my audience is people in the same exact boat as me, they don't have time to mess with mods. Maybe their device doesn't allow them to use mods, but they're not using them. So I try to stay within what the majority of my audience has access to. So that's why I build the way that I do. And I guess I'm just going to keep hounding Mojang to add in what I want them to add until they finally do it. I don't know. Maybe it'll have to be that I'll actually have to get popular as a content creator for them to actually listen to me, because I'm not going to say that I'm anybody that's special. I mean, I'm lucky enough to have over 900 subscribers, but that's not a lot. It's not a lot by any means. But I'm also really happy over regardless the amount of people I have on my channel. You guys are awesome. You've been stuck with me since the beginning, and it's been pretty cool to be able to share my builds with you guys and see that stuff rubbing off to other people, because you post your builds in the Discord and I can see them. So that's really cool to see that that the videos that I'm putting out, it does make a difference. So makes me feel good. Just wanted to throw that out there. Anyway, briefly getting back when we got going on, not really much that we have to talk about with it. A lot of this is pretty much on autopilot, just making slight changes, tweaks here and there, but continuing on the same idea that we've had since we've started out this whole section of the ship. Just a matter of continuing on your design cues from section to section of the ship. So I promise you start to identify these things. It's going to make your whole building experience so much better. I promise. And now the lovely thing with us adding in our lighting, we can get rid of all the scattered illumination blocks in favor of having them hidden with the half slabs. Just want to make sure that what I'm doing on one side matches up with what I'm doing on the other side. Very important, at least for me. And if it doesn't, look, it's not a big deal. Do what works. That looks pretty good. That looks very good. To be honest with you, you wouldn't even have to do much more than that if you didn't want to, and I don't think anybody would really be able to bat an eye at it. I want to fix that to maintain the pattern there. Oh no, I got a block poking out. Alright, want to make sure I do the same thing on this side. Now let's look at it. Yeah, I dig it. That looks pretty good. All things considered, that looks pretty good. Not super difficult to do, just takes a little bit of time. Sometimes you gotta spin your tires a little bit and throw something down just to see how it looks to end up where you need to land. I definitely dig it. I don't think we really need to make much of a change to that. Now what I do want to do here is on the points on Voyager, on the pylons, I want to add in more detail to show just where the pylons actually bend at. Now we're going to have a problem here because of that. You're going to notice that the beautiful detailing that we just added in underneath the belly of the ship is going to impede on that. There's a couple of things that we can do with that. We can either adjust our template for the area that we just added on the sides here. We can move our bracket over where the pylon bends. It's just a matter of coming up with what you want to do. I could move it, to be honest with you. I don't think it would be that big of a deal if I did move the bracket. But I think I'm going to come back to that. I want to let it marinate for a little bit. I know what I need to do. I just don't know exactly what I want to do to fix that. So I put those half slabs there so that this way it's there to remind me. And we'll come back to it. We're just going to let it marinate for right now. So all I'm doing right now, I've moved on, and my airlocks that I've added on the saucer, I decided to give them red doors. And my main reason for doing this is just to give Voyager just a little bit of color and to have them stick out just a little bit. The one thing I can say is that as they stand right now, unless I make any cosmetic changes, these airlocks are strictly facades. And look, that's okay. You don't have to have every single thing on the ship that it works. Sometimes just the detailing in itself is all you need. That's it. If we can figure out a way to make it work, hey, that's cool, but it's not something that's going to be a deal breaker. You know what I mean? You don't have to have a million ways to get into Voyager. This is why I gingerly build, because I just add in my details little by little by little, you know, and doing it that way, at least in my experience, it makes the building process a little bit easier. To really accommodate all of this, what I would have to do, I'd have to go down a block, the full block. And I just don't know if I want to do all that, because that would be a lot of work. I'd have to move everything else down, and I'm not quite sure that I actually do want to do that. The only other alternative would be to move the airlock up by one block. That could be a possibility too. So now that we've gotten that detail in, we are going to shift gears into adding in some windows on the lower hull. I think at this point I'm trying to figure out the height and the placement of where my window is going to go. The easiest thing to do here is just pick a side. That's why I always describe it as if you're looking at your ship, in this case from a front view, cut it in half. So that way you just start building on one side, because what you do on one side, you're going to do it on the other. So we just need to figure out where our starting point for all of our windows are going to be, and for one side of the ship, and the rest it'll fall into place. Now before I do that, I think what I want to do is I want to at least plot out the floor for the very belly of the ship. This is going to be as low as the ship can go. We don't have any more room to go any further decks down. As I think what I'm trying to accommodate here is I want my windows to be much lower where I initially started taking out those blocks in the wall. It's just not looking right to me, and I'm thinking that this would be the level that I'd want to add them on. It's a lot further down, a lot closer to the belly of the ship. And something else super vital, we're not just adding windows in to add windows. We're building them off the height of our last, well, technically our last or first deck on the ship. However you want to look at it, but the very bottom. And all I'm doing here, I'm just doing a red builder line going straight across. To be honest, I don't even necessarily need to do this. I'm just doing this so you guys have that visual. So those of you that might be having trouble with this, I've got my straight lines going across, and now I can see my cut points that I have on my left side. I can apply the same exact thing on the right side. This whole row right here, this is all walking points that I'm adding in right now. And the same thing here. I'm just going to take off those 2 rows. I actually messed up right there. That needs to come back. Everything in between them. Now I will say, I feel like those windows are a little, they're not long, they're not wide enough. I feel like I need to fix that. But the best thing to do before we start messing with all that would be to look at the ship from the outside and see how it looks. But, you know, maybe just looking at it from the inside, it might be enough, you know. Sometimes you might be like, well, you know, I can already see it from right here. This isn't wide enough. Make it wider, you know. Whatever works. So thankfully, I've come to the same conclusion. And I'm deleting out 1 more row off each side. I could probably even do 2. Like I said, we could, if we really wanted to, I probably could take off 1 more off each side. Now, the only thing I don't like about these windows is that they're too wide, or 2 blocks wide. I prefer that they just be 1 block wide. I don't know why, something in my brain, it just doesn't look right to me where I see 2 rows of windows in Minecraft. I very, very, very rarely will do that for like a bay window like this. But it's going to happen where sometimes you don't really have much of a choice other than just to work within the shape that you have with your ship. Alright, it's getting a little bit dark in here. We need to lighten it up. Come on, don't get stuck. There you go. Now I'm cooking with grease. I want to add in a few more lights. Not too worried about filling in all the floor, any of that stuff right now. I just want to illuminate it so that this way when I do look at the ship from the outside, that I can clearly see those windows and how it's going to look all lit up. That's looking pretty good. Doesn't look bad. I dig it. Can't believe where he shot through this episode, but you know, time flies when you're having fun. But I think that's going to do it for me today. I just want to thank you all again for tuning in today's episode. And if you did enjoy this content, please help me out. Hit that like and subscribe button, helping me in supporting the channel. I can't thank you guys enough for that. All that stuff really helps my analytics on my channel, the views, the comments, the likes, everything. So if you want to help support me, if you can do that, I greatly appreciate it. And if you have any questions regarding today's episode, be sure to drop a comment below. I definitely love hearing from everybody. You can also post your photos in the Discord. I'll have a link in the description below. But anyway, that's going to do it for me. Those of you in the States, I just want to wish everybody a very happy Thanksgiving. I hope you all have a wonderful holiday with your families. And I'll catch you guys in the next episode. And of course, what did you make in Minecraft today? Post your photos in the Discord so that we can see them.